Hello, parents and guardians. So, this video is to give you insight on how people with epilepsy think, just to help you a little more on the journey, on their journey with epilepsy with us. Does that sound right? Yeah. So, with the family member with epilepsy, it's all about helping them and you and them just adapting to this world with epilepsy. So it's taken, I don't know, like 2.5 years for my mom and I are constantly adapting to epilepsy after these 2.5 years, and we're learning something new each and every day. And I would like to pass on these, I guess, tips or just guides just onto you so you understand more. So the foundation to build like a better relationship with your family member who does have epilepsy, to help them more, the foundation is communication. Communication is a foundation because a lot of the times we feel alone throughout this journey with epilepsy, and just we feel alone because it's almost like no one around us understands what we're going through, because epilepsy is an invisible illness. Like, sure, I look normal on the outside, but within, it's a whole different me. It's a whole, like, my brain is still kind of like shaky, or I don't have a normal person's brain. Let's just put it out there. We don't have normal people brains. So communication is the foundation, and it will most likely, this will bleed into what I'm going to talk about today. So, okay, this first one. So the first one is kind of, I'm not going to say deep, but a little dark, because it is common within people with epilepsy. I know I felt it, and it is being a burden to our parents or guardians. So being a burden because, say, we aren't able to go out and get a job, we aren't able to drive, it kind of just feels like, I remember I felt like a burden because I was just at home, and I could only like do chores and stuff just at home, and I just felt like a weight, like a really heavy financial weight, because of these medical bills just stacking up, and it was horrible. And when I talked to my sister and my mom about me being a burden, because it was something that I truly felt, they opened up and they were like, no, you aren't a burden. You're our family member. You're my son. You're my brother. Like, you aren't a burden. We're in this with you. We're all going to get through this together. So with your family member who has epilepsy, they may be feeling like they're a burden. So I'm recommending that if they haven't told you yet about this feeling of being a burden, I would recommend you kind of bringing it up. Maybe, what's the other word for like slowly? Just bring it up. Be like, do you feel like you're a burden to us? And if they are caught off guard, just ease into it and just speak, just communicate about it, and just see how that goes, and let them know that they aren't a burden to you. This is your guys' journey together, and you both are gonna go, or you both, or all of you guys are gonna go through this journey together, and you're there for each other. The next one is, so I know a lot of us, people with epilepsy, we get really annoyed whenever our family members or guardians ask us if we're okay. Like, how's our brain feeling? Are we feeling fine? And I was wondering why that was, and my mom was like, sometimes I just ask you because you, pardon my French, you look like shit. And I'm like, oh. And sometimes when she does ask me, I do feel, when she asks me, maybe an aura has just passed by, and she's like, you look pale, and she knows that something's wrong. So again, communication. If your family member with epilepsy gets mad at you because you keep on asking them, hey, are you doing okay? Is your brain okay? How's your brain feeling? If they get mad at you for that, just let it go and keep asking. Because with you asking, it's really reassuring that you care about them, that you're in their support system, you're going to be there for them. And ultimately, they will tell you when they're feeling sick. I know it took me like over 2 years to finally tell my family that I was having auras. And I know that's kind of scary, but it took me 2 years, and it's hard. It's hard to be like, I'm not feeling well, because for me, I was diagnosed 2 years ago, so epilepsy is kind of new, and just saying, hey, I just had an aura, it takes a lot for me. I'm a little stubborn, but I'm getting through that. And the last thing I want to talk about is, so a main issue, I don't want to say main issue, but one of the common issues with people with epilepsy is that we have really bad memory problems, or memory issues, memory situations, to where like our short-term memory is kind of shot, and is mostly due to the anti-epileptic drugs. And if we forget something, just let it go. Say, like, I'll give you an example. So my mom will ask me a question, or she'll be like, hey, do you remember this? And I'll just be like, no, I honestly don't remember that. And she'll just let it go. It'll just, and like not really put too much into it, you know? Like, okay, I get it, you don't remember, that's that. And then I'll be like, hey, so what happened? Or I'll be like, oh, okay, can I have some details so I could try to remember? Because on the other hand, we understand that our memory is shot, and say, if my mom were to be like, hey, do you remember this? And I'd be like, no, I don't remember that at all. And my mom would just keep bugging about it, be like, oh, you don't remember that? It just happened like last week, or it just happened like yesterday. Like, it would kind of make me feel bad, and it would it would tie into me feeling alone and me feeling like no one understands what I'm going through because I don't have a normal brain, you know? So that's where the communication comes. It's just, we don't have a normal brain. And we do have memory problems. Just let it go. Some of us do feel like burdens to our families. And like I said, if your family member with epilepsy hasn't told you about this thought that may or may not happen in their mind, speak to them about it. Just create a conversation with them. Going back to signs of sickness, so if it looks like something is wrong, just ask them how they're doing, and that'll create another conversation. Like, okay, yeah, I'm doing well, or today it wasn't so good, or if they're going through medication changes, you can ask them how the withdrawals are, and just help them through that. So thank you for giving me the opportunity of sharing this information with you. I hope this helped at least one parent or guardian. Thank you. I love you all. Peace out.